The evening sky over the ruined alien settlement was dark and quiet, as if the whole world was tired of surviving. Dust blew across the broken metal buildings, and strange purple plants struggled to grow in the dry ground. Far away, a human supply worker named Evan Carter walked alone with a small backpack on his shoulder. He had visited many alien colonies before, but this one felt different. It felt empty, as if someone had taken all the life out of it. Evan looked around, confused. "Why is no one here?" he whispered to himself. The air was cold. An uneasy feeling crawled up his neck. He was supposed to deliver medical supplies, but he found no market, no guards, no people. Only silence. He took a few more steps and suddenly, two small figures jumped out from behind a destroyed solar panel. Evan froze. They were alien children. Thin, shaking, their clothes torn, their eyes bright and glowing like frightened crystals. One was a small boy with dark blue skin, and the other a tiny girl with silver markings along her cheeks. Both looked hungry and scared. Before Evan could say anything, the boy held out his hands as if trying to protect his sister. "No hurt," he said in a weak voice. Evan slowly raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "It's okay. I won't hurt you," he said gently. But the girl stepped closer, her voice trembling. "Help, please." Evan's heart tightened. These children were too young to be out here alone. "Where are your parents?" he asked softly. Before the children could answer, a sound came from behind the broken structures, soft at first, then stronger. Like hurried footsteps on metal, a tall alien woman appeared. Her body was tired, her clothes ripped, and her face full of dust and fear. She had the same glowing markings as the children. When she saw Evan, she gasped and stumbled forward, falling onto her knees. Evan rushed to her. "Hey, are you okay?" The woman pressed her forehead to the ground in front of him. Her voice was full of desperation and pain. "Human. Please, adopt my children. And be my mate." Evan's eyes widened. "What? No, wait. Stand up. Why are you saying that?" She lifted her face. Her eyes were red from crying, but filled with determination. "My name. Rila," she said slowly. "I am widow. My mate died. They hunt us. They want to kill my children. You, human. Only you can protect." Evan stepped back in shock. A stranger, begging him to become her mate? To adopt her children? It made no sense. "I can help you," he said carefully. "But why me? Why a human?" Rila did not answer with words. Instead, her eyes suddenly widened in terror. She grabbed Evan's arm and yanked him down behind a fallen metal wall. The children hid instantly beside her. "Stay low," she whispered sharply. A low growl came from the dark alley nearby. Evan pressed his back against the wall, breathing hard. "What was that?" Rila didn't blink. "Hunter beast, big, fast, smells fear." The growl got louder. The ground vibrated softly under Evan's boots. He peeked over the metal and felt his blood turn to ice. A massive creature with bone plates. Across its back crawled out of the shadows. Its long claws scraped the ground. Its eyes glowed red. The beast sniffed the air, searching. The children held their breath. Rila covered their mouths gently. Evan's heart pounded. He had seen many alien creatures in his missions, but nothing like this. "Why is it following you?" he whispered. Ril, I looked down. "Because someone sent it. Someone powerful, my mate. He died fighting them. They want his bloodline gone. My children, they are last." Evan stared at the small boy and girl. They were trembling. They were starving. And someone wanted them dead. A surge of anger rose inside him. The hunter beast sniffed again and turned toward their hiding place. Rila whispered, "If it finds us, run with children. Leave me." Evan shook his head sharply. "No, He didn't know why he said it. Maybe it was the fear in the children's eyes. Maybe it was Rila's broken voice. Or maybe it was simply what humans did: help those who needed help. The creature stepped closer. Evan looked around and spotted a long metal rod lying on the ground. He grabbed it quietly. Rila's eyes widened. Human? No. It will kill you. Evan swallowed hard. Maybe, but I won't let it kill your kids. The beast roared, shaking dust off the ruins. The children screamed and covered their ears. The creature charged. Evan jumped out from behind the wall, yelling as loud as he could to draw its attention away from Rila and the children. Hey! Over here! The beast stopped, surprised by the sudden movement. Then it turned toward Evan, teeth bared, claws scraping the metal floor. Evan held the metal rod tightly. His legs trembled, but he didn't back away. Rila stared at him from behind the wall, shocked. No human had ever risked their life for an alien widow. Not like this. Not without anything in return. Evan swung the rod when the creature rushed him. The metal hit the beast's head with a loud clang. The creature roared, stumbling to the side. Evan ran, trying to lead it away. Follow me, you ugly thing. He shouted, breathless. The beast chased him violently, crashing through metal scraps. Evan slipped, rolled, and narrowly avoided its claws. Dust filled the air. The rod felt too light, useless against such a monster. Behind him, Rila grabbed her children and ran to a safer corner. Tears filled her eyes as she watched Evan. He fights. For us, she whispered. The beast roared again and raised a claw to strike Evan down. At the last second, Evan threw himself under a broken machine. The claws smashed the metal above him instead. Sparks flew. Evan gasped for breath. He needed a plan. He needed something sharp. Something heavy. Something. His eyes caught a large piece of broken pipe sticking out from the machine's side. Sharp, rusted, deadly. He crawled quickly, grabbed it, and rolled out. The beast turned again, this time. Evan didn't run. He stood his ground. The creature lunged straight at him. Evan lifted the sharp pipe with both hands and shouted with all his strength, "Not today!" The pipe pierced deep into the creature's chest. It shrieked, thrashing wildly. Evan held on, pushed harder, and the beast finally collapsed with a heavy thud. Dust rose in the air. Silence returned. Evan fell to his knees, gasping, his arms shaking from fear and exhaustion. Rila ran to him with her children. "You saved us," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Human, why?" Evan looked at the two trembling children. "I just couldn't let them die." Rila wiped her tears and bowed her head. "You are brave. Too brave. I asked you to adopt them because I had no hope left. But now, maybe hope is here." Evan slowly stood, still breathing hard. "Tell me everything," he said. "Who is hunting you? Why are they doing this?" Rila looked toward the dark hills, fear returning to her eyes. "They are coming," she whispered. "More dangerous than this beast. They will not stop." Evan tightened his grip on the bloody pipe. "Then we won't stop either." And deep inside, he realized something. This was no longer just a supply trip. This was the beginning of a fight for a widow, her hungry children, and a future he never expected to protect. Night settled over the ruins like a cold blanket. The wind carried dust and sharp smells from the broken metal around them. Evan stood near the dead hunter beast, breathing slowly as he gathered what little strength he had left. His clothes were torn, his arms shaking, but he stayed alert. He knew this was only the beginning. Rila stood close by, holding her children protectively. Their small bodies were shivering in the cold. Their eyes were wide with fear, but also with something new - hope. Evan turned toward them. "We can't stay here," he said firmly. "More danger will come." Rila nodded, but her voice shook when she spoke. There is an old bunker near the East Ridge. My mate used it long ago. It is hidden. We can rest there. Evan didn't know if the bunker was safe, but he knew the ruins were not. Lead the way, he said. Rila carried the smaller child on her back while holding the hand of the older one. Evan stayed behind them, weapon ready. His heart felt heavy, but he forced himself to stay focused. As they moved through the dark streets, Evan noticed how silent everything was. No lights, no voices, no life. It felt like the whole settlement was holding its breath. Why is this place empty? He asked quietly. Rila lowered her head. Because of the clan. They control everything now. Widows, small children, weak people. They have no place in their rule. People ran away or were forced to join them. Evan frowned. This wasn't just danger, this was oppression. But why do they want your children? He asked. Rila swallowed hard. My mate, he refused to follow them. He helped humans during war years ago. He saved many lives. They saw him as a traitor to our people. When he died, they wanted his bloodline gone. My children are last. Evan felt anger rise inside him. So they're punishing kids for something their father did? Rila nodded slowly. Yes, it made Evan sick. He looked at the two little ones. They could barely walk without stumbling. Their thin arms and tired eyes told him everything. These children had suffered too long. Rila suddenly stopped and raised her hand. Wait! Evan lifted his weapon. A small patrol drone floated in the air ahead of them, scanning the ground with a red beam. They all hid behind a fallen cargo container. The drone hovered, scanning the area, humming with a cold mechanical sound. The boy clutched Evan's sleeve. It see us? He whispered. Evan bent down and whispered, Not if you stay quiet. The drone scanned for several long seconds, then flew away into the darkness. Only after it was gone did Rila breathe again. They are searching. They know we survived. Evan nodded. We need to move fast. Reaching the old bunker, they reached the East Ridge after a long and tiring walk. Behind tall rocks, hidden by thick wild bushes, a metal door lay half buried in the ground. Ril pressed her hand on a small panel. The door hissed and clicked. It still works, she whispered with relief. Inside, the bunker was cold and dusty, but safe. There were old supplies, broken machines, and a dim emergency light glowing faintly. The children sat down immediately. Exhausted. Rila searched the shelves and found 2 small ration packs. She handed them to the children, who opened them quickly and began eating small bites. Evan leaned against the wall, watching them. They're starving, he said softly. Rila closed her eyes. We had no food for 2 days. Evan felt a sharp pain in his chest. These kids shouldn't be fighting for survival like this. He removed his backpack and took out 2 human protein bars. Here, he said. The children looked at the bars with wide eyes. For us? The boy asked. Evan smiled a little. Yes, eat as much as you want. The children quickly took the food and ate with small smiles. For the first time, Evan saw life in their eyes. Rila watched him quietly. You treat them like your own, she said softly. Evan shook his head. I'm just doing what any decent person would do. Rila lowered her gaze. No, many would leave us, humans, are different. The truth Rila hid after the children fell asleep. Rila sat down near Evan. There is something more you must know, she said quietly. Evan looked at her seriously. What is it? Rila took a deep breath. The clan leader. He is ruthless, strong, skilled in old combat. And he hates humans. Evan frowned. So he wants me dead too. Rila nodded. If he knows you helped us, yes. Evan sighed. Great, that makes things easier. Rila stared at him, confused. You speak like this is nothing. Evan shook his head. It's not nothing. But I've handled worse. And I'm not abandoning you. Rila looked at him for a long moment. Her eyes softened. You are strange, human Evan. My people fear humans. They say humans feel nothing. But you feel too much. Evan didn't know what to say. He looked away. Enemy approaches later that night, while the children slept. Evan checked outside the bunker. He saw movement. Shadows. At least 3 scouts were searching the ridge. They carried electro-spears and strange armored suits. Their glowing eyes scanned every corner. Evan quickly returned inside. We have trouble, he whispered. Rila stood instantly. They found us? Not yet. But they're close. Rila looked panicked but tried to stay calm. We must leave. If they find us, they will call the whole clan. Evan thought for a moment. No, if we run now, we'll be caught in the open. We stay here for now. And if they come inside, I fight. Rila shook her head. You cannot fight them alone. Evan smiled faintly. You saw me fight the beast. I'm not that easy to kill. Rila's eyes softened again. You risk your life for us. Why? Evan sighed. Because no one should face danger alone. And your kids. They deserve a life. A real life. Rila's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. The children's hope early. Morning light entered the bunker. Through a small crack, the children woke up. Slowly and walked to Evan. The little girl held a small metal piece, an old button from the bunker. She pressed it into Evan's hand. This is for you, she said shyly. Gift, Evan smiled gently. Thank you. It's beautiful. The boy stood closer. You stay with us? You protect us? Evan knelt down and touched their heads gently. I'll do everything I can. Rila watched the scene silently, her heart full. She had been alone for so long, fighting for survival, protecting her children with fear in every step. But now, for the first time, she saw someone stand with them without asking anything in return. A human. A stranger. But somehow, more loyal than anyone she had ever known. The scouts find them, suddenly. A loud metallic noise echoed outside. Boom. Evan stood instantly. Rila pulled her children behind her. They are breaking the outer lock. Evan grabbed his sharp pipe weapon. Take the kids to the back room. Stay low. Rila hesitated. You will fight alone? Evan nodded. It's okay. I need time. Go. The metal door shook again. The lock sparked. Voices shouted in alien language. Rila rushed to the back with the children. But she couldn't stop looking at Evan. He stood ready, weapon in hand, eyes focused. Breath steady. The door finally crashed open. 3 armored scouts entered. Weapons glowing. One pointed at Evan. You. Human, stand down. Evan didn't move. You first. The scouts snarled. Where is the widow? Where are the children? Evan tightened his grip. Not your business. The scout raised his spear. Then you die. Evan took a deep breath. This was it. This was where he proved what kind of man he really was. He wasn't fighting for money. He wasn't fighting for duty. He was fighting for a family that wasn't his, but should have been safe all along. Evan stepped forward. Come on then. The scouts charged. Rila covered her mouth from the other room. Tears falling silently as she watched the human who had every chance to run. Choose to stay. Choose to fight. Choose them. The bunker shook as the scouts stormed inside. Dust fell from the ceiling. Metal echoed with every step of the armored enemies. Evan stood in the center of the room, holding only a sharp rusted pipe, but his eyes were steady. He wasn't fighting for glory. He wasn't fighting for honor. He was fighting for a widow and 2 children who deserved to live. One of the scouts stepped forward and pointed his electro-spear at Evan. You're a brave fool. Human, he hissed. Stand aside, and we spare you. The widow and her young belonged to the clan. Evan tightened his jaw. They belonged to no one. The scout snarled. Then die. He thrust his spear forward. Evan dodged to the side, barely avoiding the electric tip. The spear hit the wall, sending sparks everywhere. Evan swung his pipe with all his strength, smashing it into the scout's helmet. The scout stumbled, surprised by the force. Evan didn't let him recover. He hit again once, twice until the helmet cracked and the scout fell unconscious. The other two reacted fast. One jumped over the fallen scout and swung his spear in a wide arc. Evan blocked with the pipe, but the electric charge burned through the metal, leaving a glowing force mark. The impact sent Evan sliding backward, breath knocked out of him. The third scout raised a blaster and aimed at Evan's chest. Rila screamed from the back room. No! She held her children tightly, her heart breaking as she watched the human who saved them stand alone against trained killers. The scout fired. Evan rolled behind a crate. The blaster bolt scorched the wall, melting a part of it. Evan grabbed an old metal plate from the floor. It was heavy, but wide enough to block some shots. The scout fired again. Evan used the plate as a shield, the blast hitting it hard and pushing him back. His arms trembled under the force. He needed a plan. He needed something more than a pipe. He scanned the room quickly. His eyes locked onto an old fuel canister sitting beside a broken generator. That could work. Evan took a deep breath, then did something insane. He ran straight toward the scouts. The blaster-wielding scout fired again. Evan used the plate to block it, sparks exploding around him. He reached the fuel canister, grabbed it, and threw it with all his strength toward the scouts. What? The scouts shouted in confusion. Evan dove behind a pillar and yelled, Rila! Cover the kids! The blaster hit the canister. Boom! The bunker shook with a small explosion. Flames burst upward. The scouts were thrown back, their armor dented. One hit the wall hard and collapsed, not moving again. The remaining scout, the strongest one, rose slowly, smoke rising from his armor. He growled, You think this saves you, human? Evan wiped blood from his forehead, but smiled. It saves them. The scout charged with the spear aimed low. Evan leaped aside, but the spear grazed his leg, leaving a burning cut. Pain shot through him. He stumbled, barely standing. The scout lifted the spear for a killing blow, but Evan rushed forward and grabbed the spear shaft with both hands. The electric charge shocked his arms, burning his palms. But he held on with pure will. The scout growled in frustration and pushed. Evan pushed back. It was strength versus desperation, and Evan's desperation was stronger. With one fierce roar, he twisted the spear, ripped it from the scout's hands, and kicked him in the chest. The scout staggered. Evan spun the spear around, clumsy, untrained, but powerful, and hit the scout across the head. The enemy fell to one knee. Evan struck again and again, until the scout stopped moving. Silence finally filled the bunker. Evan dropped the spear, breathing heavily, his body shaking with pain. His arms burned, his leg throbbed, and his vision blurred. But he stayed standing. He had to. Rila and the children rush out. Rila ran toward him, the children behind her. Her eyes were full of tears, fear, relief, and something deeper. You are hurt, she cried. Evan shook his head. I'm fine. Are the kids okay? The children nodded and hugged Evan tightly. Their small hands clutched his torn shirt. You protect us. The little girl said, You not leave. Evan smiled weakly. Of course not. But he knew this wasn't over. If scouts found them, the clan leader wouldn't be far behind. Rila touched his burned hands gently. Why do you fight so hard for us? Evan looked at her, then at the children. Because no one should have to face this alone. Not you, not them. Rila's eyes softened. She had never seen such loyalty before. Not even from her own people. The clan leader arrives. A thunderous voice echoed outside the bunker. "Widow Rila, come out." The ground seemed to shake with each word. Rila froze. Evan's stomach twisted. "That's him?" Evan asked quietly. Rila nodded, fear gripping her. "Yes, the clan leader, Karen." Evan grabbed the electro-spear from the floor, tightening his grip even though his hands burned. Rila touched his arm. "You cannot fight him. He is stronger than all scouts. He will kill you." Evan looked toward the bunker door. "I don't need to be stronger. I just need to protect you long enough to escape." But Rila shook her head. "No, running will not stop him. He will follow forever." The door burst open. A massive alien warrior entered, his armor black and polished, his eyes glowing white with rage. He was twice the size of Evan, with sharp bone-like spikes across his shoulders. Karen stepped forward. "So, the human who thinks he is a hero." Evan raised the spear. "And you're the coward who hunts children." Karen let out a deep laugh. "Your courage is useless. You will die today." He charged. The impact threw Evan across the bunker. He hit the wall hard, pain exploding through his ribs. He dropped the spear but forced himself back up. Karen grabbed him by the throat and lifted him into the air. Rila screamed. "No, stop." Karen didn't even look at her. "This human thinks he is father to your children. I will show you he is nothing." Evan gasped for air. His vision dimmed. But he saw something behind Karen, something important. Old generator's power core, still unstable from the earlier explosion, still glowing. Evan used the last of his strength and kicked Karen hard in the head. The warrior stumbled and dropped him. Evan fell to the ground. Coughing, Karen roared and charged again. Evan rolled aside, grabbed the spear, and stabbed it into the generator's power core. Sparks erupted. Karen skidded to a stop. "What are you?" Evan yelled. "Rila, down." The power core exploded. A burst of energy threw Karen off his feet, smashing him against the wall. His armor cracked and he collapsed. Unmoving, the lights flickered. The bunker echoed with silence. Rila rushed to Evan, who lay breathing weakly on the ground. "You saved us," she whispered. "Again." Evan gave a tired smile. "Just doing my job." The children hugged him tightly, crying softly. "You are our hero," the boy said. "You are family," the girl whispered. Rila's eyes filled with tears. She gently placed her hand over Evan's. "You risked everything for us," she said softly. "You are already their father. If you want to be." Evan looked at the children, then at Rila. He felt something warm inside him, something he never expected to feel. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I want to be." Rila leaned forward and rested her forehead against his. "You are our protector. Human Evan, you gave us life again." And for the first time, the bunker felt warm. For the first time, the widow and her children were safe. For the first time, Evan found a family he never knew he needed.